Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 80 of the Cricpicks podcast. I'm Behram who you can find at DefMango on Twitter. To my right is Varun Alvaconda, who you can't find on social media even when you try. And to my left is Jarrod, who you can find literally everywhere. Just a quick briefing for those of you who are new to Cricpicks. What we do on the show is that we take any generic cricket category and then we draft our top 5 each for that category in a snake-style draft competition. And what that means is that the pick order goes 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. And sometimes what we do on this show is that we combine to draft teams, right? Teams of 12. And, you know, that's kind of what we're doing today as well. I just want to give a quick shout out to the person who recommended this topic, because as soon as he did, I was instantly in love with it. And I told him that, of course, we're doing this. His name is Aswath Govinanda Rajan. I think that's how we say that, or Govinda Rajan. And the topic is an all-time revolutionary test team, such that it must have cricketers in it who have given us something.
You said test team.
Oh, I said test team?
You said test team.
Never mind.
But before, you didn't say test team.
No, it's not test team.
Yeah,
I misspoke.
Confused.
It is just a all-time revolutionary team, no format specific or whatever. And the premise is basically that we need to come up with cricketers or pick cricketers who have given us something within cricket, who have revolutionized the sport in some way. So how do you guys feel about this?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you feel about it? Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about it?
He's always perturbed when he can't work with any
Certainly
stats.
feel things, I'll tell you that. Yeah. I don't like going based on vibes without stats packing. That's the way. Yeah.
Well, he likes going with vibes in every other way, but not in this particular one way that you've made him go about vibes.
Yeah. My vibes are usually stats back to an extent. This I just have no idea.
I have traveled the cricketing world, and so I've collected two things: the phone numbers of random taxi drivers and overseas SIM cards. Rideshare apps have fixed the first part, and Sally is doing the second. Now, all you need is their eSIM on whatever plan works for you. You activate it, and you can use it anywhere in the cricketing world. It helps you save money. It is a global solution to a global problem. Stop fiddling with tiny SIMs and get the one that does it all. Go to Sally.com Good Areas and use the code Good Areas to get an exclusive 15% off your first purchase. Fly free with Sally.
Okay, I have landed first pick for this one. And,
Yes.
you know, I don't care about the best cricketer when we talk about picks over here. I just want to tell a fun story, right? That's where I'm going with this, which is why my first pick is Ranji.
Wait, just before... I was going to say, like that's what someone says before they ruin the draft.
Well, I think Ranji actually is pretty high on numbers as well, because at number 3, where he batted quite frequently, he's averaging like in the late 40s. And Varun, I don't know if you know the story or not. You probably watched the footmarks actually. Is how his coach, who was brother of Tom Hayward, his name was Dan Hayward, and Tom Hayward was also a very elite cricketer of his times. He coached Ranji in a way where Ranji was afraid of the ball, and he would tie his back leg to either a bucket or a brick or whatever. We don't know what it was. And in order to like counter his fear. And through that, Ranji started to kind of, you know, flick the ball off his legs and in a leg glancy way. So that's the birth of the leg glance. And if you think about it, you are kind of trying to protect yourself when you're playing the leg glance. And prior to this, leg side shots weren't the norm. They were kind of considered impolite, if anything. And he completely revolutionizes the sport at that time in the early 1900s or late 1800s. And he opens up an entire new area of the field, which I love. And now the leg glance is like, it comes as second nature almost whenever the ball is pitched over there. So that's particularly why I went for Ranji. And also,
it might just be me, like, because I can never tell the difference between a flick and a leg glance.
flick is more, you know, towards the front, right? You know, like mid-wicket region.
Square leg.
Yeah, square leg, mid-wicket region, I suppose. But
You essentially with a flick, you're playing the shot when it's straight, but you can flick a ball from outside off stump, right? You can't leg glance a ball from outside off stump. You can step across it and try and glance it, but it's not a typical leg glance. The leg glance needs the ball to be kind of in the right position, which is middle stump or leg stump.
Yep.
Whereas a flick is more to do with your wrist.
also, another fun fact about Ranji is not that the Ranji trophy is named after him, but also the fact that this is a guy who played 15 test matches, averaged the high 40s, and he never played for India. He's an English cricketer essentially, right? So and he's a Maharaja. So that just again, great story to tell. That's why he's my first pick.
Beautiful.
Okay, I think it's you now, Varun.
Is it me? Like,
Yes,
I'm
it
just
is.
gonna go
Yeah.
safe and go Victor Trumper again. Assuming it does fit.
Yes, of course he fits.
So like I guess he contributes hitting across the line. Is that if I'm thinking correctly?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
He makes it repeatable.
Yeah.
And Jarrod, please take over. I'm just gonna sit back on this.
He changes the game. So before Victor Trumper, especially English gentlemen players would only hit the ball in the direction it was supposed to be hit. So people would hit the ball to the leg side, but that was when it was bowled down the leg side. And Victor Trumper's like, why would I want to do that? If they're bowling outside off stump and they've only got 3 guys on the leg side, I might as well hit to the leg side, which now is what cricket does, but is not what it was doing at the time.
Yeah.
And so, and the fact that he could repeat that shot over and over again, or those shots, it wasn't even just that he had one, completely changes the way that we bat.
Also, bowlers start to target that channel outside the off stump, and that's where the modern line is born. And
Yeah.
it's born as a defensive tactic because you don't want Trumper whacking you on the leg side for boundaries. So I really found that fascinating. We also spoke about in the footmarks how that probably is where people start thinking about how you can't have more than 2 fielders square of the wicket behind or behind square on the leg side. And Trumper is also an aggressive bat. So there's a lot that he's doing in terms of revolutionizing the sport. And weirdly enough, Varun, him and Ranji have a bit of overlap.
Yeah. Very similar eras.
So leg side play. We've gone for 2 leg side players to start off this 12.
I'm going to go for captain. I'm going to go for Clive Lloyd,
Ooh.
who basically changes the length that all players bowl. And on top of that, he also changes the way that teams put their sides together. Before, the idea was you might have a couple of swing bowlers with your new ball and maybe someone who would bowl defensively after that and a couple of spinners. And Clive Lloyd just went, what if you just had 4 really good bowlers who are all exactly the same as each other, and we'll just go with that. And so it means the teams start picking from their strengths rather than trying to pick what they think is the right team. And he wasn't the first one to invent that. Nawab Patooty is another one who obviously does that with the quartet a little bit, although they don't play together all that much, but he does that a little bit. But Clive Lloyd just changes everything once he starts to do that. And teams, you end up in a situation where Pakistan play in a test match with 3 or 4 left-arm seamers, right? Like that wouldn't have happened before that sort of Clive Lloyd revolution. So I think he's incredibly important. It's often misreported as a little bit in the way that they just basically say, oh, Clive Lloyd made this decision and switched to it. It actually takes him a few years to finally do it. And they would sometimes use spinners, and they also would use medium pacers as all-rounders at number 8 for a little while. And then eventually they just went, let's just pick the best 4 bowlers, and we don't need a number 8, right? We don't need to worry about that anymore. And from that moment forward, obviously they take a huge leap to being the best team of all time, probably.
Yeah, interesting pick. There is one other captain who could have made it. I'll mention his name in the end. But you've got another one, Jarrod, don't you?
I don't think we have to stop with that as our only captain, though, do we?
Yeah, I suppose so. They are.
We can have multiple captains.
Of course.
Okay. I'm not going to pick who you think I'm going to pick because I always pick that person.
Yep.
I'm going to go for a fun one. I'm going to go for Simon O'Donnell.
Okay.
Of course.
What did he do?
Well, you guys tell me.
The slow ball, no? Was
is it?
Yeah. What's slow ball?
Back of the hand?
Back of the hand.
Back of the hand, slower ball.
I
So
remember this now.
I covered the World Test Championship the other day, and obviously Damien Fleming was over, and I was asking him about how it happened because Simon O'Donnell hasn't spoken about this that much, and I've tried to reach out a couple of times. He's never got back to me. I'm putting Flem on the spot here because Flem was a few drinks in at this stage. Flem was like, "Yeah, I'll get you in. Maybe it won't be any problem. He'll chat to you." But he was taking it through it. The way that they came about it. It's such an important ball because I think everyone can bowl the off cutter, right? Like I think the off cutter, and that player, I won't spoil it in case one of you guys want to say it. But the person who comes up with the off cutter, I think that was a very normal thing that was going to happen. Simon O'Donnell's ball is so interesting because it is not how fast bowlers normally bowl. It's not anything like a normal fast bowling delivery. And because of that, it's the first time when fast bowlers really start to reevaluate what they can do. Whereas the cutter is just breaking your hands on the ball, right? Whereas this is literally, it's like bowling a wrong at full pace. And, you know, Australia win a World Cup on it. And you know, now it's still, it's not like it's a slow ball that's been worked out, right? Like where, Simon O'Donnell would have come up with it in 85, I think. It's 40 years on, right? And it's still ahead of the curve. And a cutter, cutters are great, obviously, but a cutter isn't really ahead of the curve. Anyone can hit a cutter. If you're really good at bowling back of the hand slow ball, you could still have almost an entire career doing that one delivery.
True. No, I like the pick. And now we're back to Varun, aren't we? Go for a bowler, Varun. There's so many fun bowlers.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go for a bowler that I believe nearly ruined cricket at one point. Bernard Bosanquet with his googly.
Yeah. Like that pick.
Yeah.
So not only did he nearly ruin cricket, he then, like, 20 years after he invented that delivery, Varun, he had to write in a letter apologizing for it. Like, I think it's possible he was going to get kicked out of Lords or something. They were going to ban the ball, right? And talking about overlap, Simon O'Donnell is essentially just bowling the wrong one himself. He's just bowling it at pace, and Bernard Bosanquet invents the wrong one. So, there's a lot of overlap there. But yeah, fascinating player. I think what's great about Bernard Bosanquet is he was actually shit. Like he never managed to nail that delivery. And I think the first wrong he ever bowled, I reckon, bounced twice before it bowled the guy. Like it wasn't like he never nailed the delivery like the South African guys did and like everyone did after him.
Yeah, plus it's such a funny story. Not only does he help South Africa beat England for the first time in Test cricket, but he's not even...
Despite being English.
Yeah, despite being English. And he's not even like the most famous Bernard Bosanquet. Varun, I want you to go Google him and some other musician dude will come up, right?
Yes.
And
yeah,
like,
I was just looking at it.
I think it's a philosopher, isn't it? Isn't there a philosopher?
It
It's
might
a
be a philosopher.
yeah.
And the interesting...
And then his grandson is a newsreader, like a famous newsreader in the
And there's
UK.
a song on him. That's how we learned his pronunciation, because you were like, is this Bosanquet? Is this Bosanquet? How do you say it? Right?
Bosanquet. Yeah. I had many different options.
But like, so the wrong on a googly is initially even called the Bosie, and he's not even that great at it, right? But of course, because he's the pioneer, he has to make this team. So I'm glad Varun has gone for him. All right. Where do I go now? I've got a few really, really fun bowling options. So I suppose I'll go there. Now, for my next pick, I will go Sarfaraz Nawaz. I know that people started scuffing the ball up and, trying to reverse it before Sarfaraz. But he's the one who makes reverse swing mainstream. And he teaches it to Imran. And then Imran teaches it to Wasim and Waqar. And then everyone in county cricket is trying their hand at it. But yeah, like Jarrod speaks of Clive Lloyd and how the length was changed by that West Indian team. So they started bowling back of a length and short. And literally, like, not long after, Pakistan fast bowlers are going and targeting your toes with the reverse swinging Yorkers. Yep. So I feel like it's a very important kind of revolution in the history of our sport. And you have to credit Sarfaraz for kind of imparting that knowledge and making it spread like wildfire, right? And then, of course, as far as his career is concerned, whilst he averages over 30 with the ball, I feel, in Test cricket, he has that spell in Australia as well, right? So Stuart Clark is ultimately nicknamed Sarfaraz. So
no, look, who's the guy who it's him and someone else in first class cricket, and the other guy never went on to have a great career at all, did he? I don't even think played a Test match. But you're right, Sarfaraz is more important. Reverse swing existed before. Both of those guys, but no one knew how to repeat it, and no one knew. Even now, I mean, we see Robbie on our podcast talking about you need to load the ball up with spit, and it's like, and then you have Aaron Briggs go, reloading the ball up with spit doesn't work, right? So even now, it's not quite understood. But what Sarfaraz, I'm not saying he was like a scientist or anything, but he understood how to make it repeatable and how to make it happen over and over again, and that's the important thing for reverse swing. Because it had existed beforehand, but it doesn't matter if it exists beforehand if you all can't do it, right? Like if you can't repeat it, it's pointless.
True. And yeah, so now we've got another bowler in our team. We've got Simon O'Donnell and Sarfaraz, right? Maybe I shouldn't go for another seamer because I have a couple of seamers over here who are really, really good bowlers. But maybe I should either go for a spinner who's done something similar to Sarfaraz, or I could go with the obvious pick that we're just continuing to delay. And I'm going to continue to delay it. Screw it. I'm going Saqlain Mushtaq as my next pick. He is obviously the person who, again, doesn't pioneer the Dusra. The Dusra exists before Saki, but he is the one who makes it repeatable. He is the one who makes it mainstream. And then for a good, I want to say, 10 to 15 years, the Dusra dominates cricket, right? And the off spinner all of a sudden is not a defensive bowler anymore because they can turn it both ways. And you get the likes of Murali, Saki, throw Harbhajan in this as well, right? Early days, Shoaib Malik had a decent Dusra. It becomes a bit of, an era where finger spinners start to dominate, especially like when they have the Dusra in their armory. So I feel like Saki is really important in that respect. And now we've got a wrist spinner and a finger spinner on our team. So it also helps our team.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's any issues there. And also, if I'm not mistaken, Bernard Bozique could bat, right? We actually have, with him and Simon O'Donnell, we have some all-round players in the middle there as well.
Yeah, that's true.
I think when he first played for England, he might have played as a batter and then was a very reluctant bowler still. So yeah, we've got a very versatile side at the moment.
Very. Okay, so we are back to, who is it, Varun?
Me, I think.
I've forgotten whose turn it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I need you to tell me if this is actually a shot or if I've read the wrong thing.
Okay.
I'm
So
enjoying this
Graham
already.
Gooch. I'm going Graham Gooch
Say
and
what?
the Dap third man.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Didn't that exist before Gucci?
Yeah. I think he popularized. It's a bit like I think the way like the Deucer and all of them work.
But why wouldn't you go for the really obvious pick that we're all just ignoring?
Yeah. Yes, maybe later. I was gonna go for that if this was not wrong. That's my thinking. I was like,
Is it?
This is a tough one because the back cut exists and it's essentially the back cut. But at the same time, if you go back and you watch early ODI cricket, people are, most of the time when the ball goes to third, it is a slash and it's an edge. And then there is a distinct movement, probably towards the back end of the 80s, where you suddenly start to see top order players just opening the face and running the ball down to third, right? Which is not a shot that we see much anymore because you don't even see third all that much more. And with the slower ball, it doesn't work as well and all these sorts of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, whether Graham Gooch is the pioneer of that, I don't know. I think it's...
I
think
have no idea.
Well, you've picked him now. He's in.
Yeah, he is in.
I don't know if that's wrong or not. So I don't mind picking him.
It kind of
I'm good
screws
with
us
that.
up
I'm
with
happy.
respect to all the different batters we could have gone with because there are a few over here. You could have picked a keeper if you really wanted 360-degree play, bro. Like...
Yeah, there's more. That could be more options. That's fine. Yeah.
Anyway, we've got Gucci in and we're back to Jarrod. But before we go to his back-to-back picks, we will be taking a short break. You guys are watching Cricpicks with Behram, Jarrod and Varun. And go nowhere because we'll be back in like half a minute.
Ross Taylor couldn't see at night or when the clouds were in. Eventually, he had to see an eye specialist who would fix his eyesight. In the 2 years before the change, he still averaged more than 50 in international cricket. The top level of batting talent can basically see in the dark. That is who we are talking about in our new book, The Art of Batting. Head over and order your copy today.
Welcome back to Cricpicks. You guys are with Behram, Jarrod and Varun, and we are currently assembling an all-time revolutionary team. And Jarrod has 2 back-to-back picks.
Yeah, I'll go Hanif Mohammed next.
Nice one.
I know it's not just him. No one actually knows for sure if it was him or his brother, but we know that both of them were playing the reverse sweep. And why I think that is so important is essentially what it... And again, it's a bit like what you're saying with Suckling.
Yeah.
People had certainly played a version of this before, but it wasn't a repeatable thing. It wasn't done very often. Hanif Mohammed, by playing this shot and being Hanif Mohammed, essentially changes batting forever because it's the first shot where you have to make your decision before the ball is bowled. Right?
Yeah.
Like if you're facing sometimes I'll get contacted by club spinners and go, well, I make my decision afterwards. And I'm like, yeah, but you're facing someone bowling donkey drops to you in club cricket. You're facing an international spinner. You have to make the decision beforehand 95% of the time, right? And so, that shot then leads to all the other shots that we might be talking about, later on. So I think it's a really important one for the history of the game.
Yeah.
And really interesting that it comes from a defensive batter who's known for literally not scoring for long periods of time.
That's true. He was a Karachiite, right? And that's kind of known for Karachi batters, that they are like quite cunning in that way. And Javed is another iteration of a batter from Karachi. But with Hanif, you also get a backup wicketkeeper, right? Like he could,
Which is what I was looking for.
he could keep wicket. So we might end up in a situation over here where we don't have a frontline wicketkeeper. So I think that's a fantastic pick. And I was wanting to pick him, but you've done better justice to him, I suppose.
And then I'll follow that up with this is my fourth pick, right? I've still got another pick after this, yeah. I will follow that up with the player that only could do what he did because of Hanif Mohammed, which is Dougie Marillier.
Oh, interesting. So you've gone for the uppercut sort of thing, or scoop?
The scoop.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I wanted to see if either of you knew who he was. So yeah, he's a Zimbabwean cricketer who plays in the 90s. He doesn't have a great career.
Yeah.
Like it's not as if he went on to be a great player or anything. He played 5 tests, 48 matches. It kind of bumbles around the middle order a little bit of wicket keeping, but when he starts playing this shot, and he doesn't just play it against random players, like the footage online is him doing it against Glenn McGrath, and Glenn McGrath's just bowling Yorkers, and he can't bowl his Yorkers anymore.
Yeah.
Which is this whole thing of like, Joel Garner would still be able to bowl Yorkers. Well, Glenn McGrath was one of the best bowlers of Yorkers ever, and he couldn't do it against his one shot. What would he do if 20 blokes were doing it to him, not just one, right? It's his shot is probably over more short fine leg. It's when Dilshan comes in, and obviously Ryan Campbell plays a job that they change a little bit. But if you wanted a wicketkeeper, I got him. I've got your wicketkeeper right here, Dougie Marillier. I think it's really important that we remember his name because cricketers like him often get forgotten because they're not from major countries. Yeah. This shot is so influential in the way we play our game now, and Zimbabwe played a big role in that existing.
I mean, it's the last time in batsmanship that a new area altogether has been opened up on the field, right? As far as run scoring is concerned. Yeah. And that's why Dougie Marillier is important. So yeah, I mean, he plays the scoop before everyone else. And I like how both of your picks kind of mesh in together because they revolutionize cricket in the most recent way, in a weird way, right?
Yeah.
Or batting, I suppose. Okay, so what does our team look like, Jarrod? I need to know before Varun can make his next pick, so that I can influence him.
It's Victor Trumper, Graham Gooch, Ranji, Hanif Mohammed, Clive Lloyd, Bernard Bosanquet, Simon O'Donnell, Dougie Marillier. We're missing a bowler, and then we've got Saqlain Mushtaq and Safraz Nawaz.
Ooh. Okay, Varun, you could go wobble seam. You could go swing bowling.
I was thinking, I was gonna go wobble seam. I think next.
You could go flipper as well.
You could, but we don't need a spinner, right? That's the issue.
Yeah,
no one needs a spinner. They want a spinner.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go like Mohammed Asif and wobble ball. Is he the one?
Yeah,
I guess.
I suppose you could go with Asif for wobble ball.
That's it. I think the interesting call is whether you say it's Mohammed Asif
or Jimmy,
or if you say it's Jimmy Anderson.
Yeah, Jimmy's the other one, right?
Because
yeah,
I don't know how many people Mohammed Asif taught the wobble ball to, whereas Jimmy Anderson literally teaches the wobble ball to people, and that's why it spreads, right?
Yeah, but so could you not argue Anderson learns it from Asif?
Yes, but he also learned it from Stuart Clark.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, fair.
So I don't know what direction to go with the wobble ball. You've also got, the West Indians, bowling it as well. But I think it's a really, really fascinating one. And it's certainly, it could go either way. I don't think this is a wrong answer though. Like I think Mohammed Asif certainly should be linked to that ball, if nothing else.
I was also confused, that, okay, I want to go wobble ball, but do I go Jimmy or Asif? Because to your point, one is a bowler who kind of like brings it onto the mainstream in terms of viewers, and then the other one spreads it, and Jimmy makes it like very, very repeatable for bowlers across the world. So it's a tough one, but there is no wrong answer, I suppose. You could pick either.
Have I finished my picks or do I have one more?
I think you have finished your picks, haven't you?
Oh,
no, you're done.
Yeah. So I am left.
Okay.
I am left with
another one.
I'm left with 12th, right? And then we finish up. Okay, that's interesting.
All right.
So who do I go with? I'm not going to go for the captains. Yeah, no. I'm ruling them out. I don't think we need the swing bowler anymore. I'm really sad that he'll go unpicked. You know what? Never thought this day would come, but my last pick for 12th man is WG Grace. I mean, the usual first pick is now the last pick in this particular Cricpicks episode. And for those of you who would be confused by this, well, prior to WG Grace, we had underarm bowling, and that was kind of the norm. And you would either have front foot batters who would only play on the front foot, or back foot batters. And WG Grace, his career kind of starts when underarm is a thing, and then he sees round arm bowling and overarm bowling kind of being bowled in tandem, all three at a time, right? And he's the first batter in the history of our sport who kind of makes that decision that, all right, I'm going to judge the length. If it's bowled full, I'll go on my front foot. If it's bowled short, I'll go on my back foot. And that is something that when you go into cricket camp is like the first thing that you're taught when you pick up a bat. And it might seem rudimentary, but this has changed cricket forever. It is that big a revolution. So it would be absolutely unfair if WG Grace goes unpicked in this.
Yeah, no, he had to be on this list, and you've explained exactly why he had to be on this list. Also, how much would it annoy him to be 12th man on this list?
Yeah.
So, in some ways, it couldn't be any more perfect.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, before we go into what our team looks like and what our picks were, I just want to mention some honorary mentions, right? Fred Spofford misses out, right? I mean, that kind of annoyed me a bit because I feel like the Demon deserved to be in this team. But you went with the slow ball bowling.
You're the one who picked reverse swing when you could have picked actual swing.
True, I could have done that. How about Douglas Jardine, Jarrod?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because does it actually change? Is it revolutionary because it disappears? Right? Like,
Yeah.
That's true.
I think Clive Lloyd is very different. I know it's not just bouncers with Clive Lloyd; it's more than that. But I just think that with Clive Lloyd, it actually changes the way everyone plays. But that's not the case with Jardine because everyone shits themselves after that, right?
Yeah.
And also the West Indies had already bowled it, and so had county teams. So I had Jardine on my longer list, but I don't think it's wrong for him not to make it.
Yeah, fair.
Could we go gone Wagner for his bowling style?
We could have gone back.
Or is it just
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think definitely because he's taken it to a whole different level, right?
Yeah.
I had AB and Stokes in my long list because I was like, if we're desperate for a wicketkeeper, AB can do the job, and he's the one who kind of makes 360-degree play, hipster. Not
Les
even
Ames
hipster.
as well, right?
Not
Is it
hipster,
Les Ames
the opposite
first
of
keeper
hipster.
batter?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think if you're gonna, there's three options with wicketkeeping. I think you can go AB de Villiers, but I think you can also go Gilchrist or Les Ames in either of those directions. But you can also go MS Dhoni because he's the first player that doesn't have to give with their gloves, so he gets more stumpings than anyone else.
That's fair.
So you do actually have a few different options available to you, and maybe Rod Marsh. Rod Marsh is probably the first sort of athletic, jumpy wicket keeper as well. So I think there's a few different options if you want to go in that
Didn't you
direction.
say Ian Healy was a lot like modern keepers, and modern keepers follow what he did at some point?
Yes, but I think Ian Healy was more the perfection of wicket keeping rather than a revolutionary force of it. But if you watch wicket keeping now, it looks a lot more like Ian Healy.
Jarrod, how about Alan Knott versus spin, as in keeping to spin?
Oh, he was a great keeper to spin, but there was hundreds of them beforehand.
Okay.
So that's the thing that had always existed, right? Because most wicket keepers in the old days are kept up at the stumps. So that was more normal. Whereas I think MS Dhoni is the first one to sort of bring in the quicker stumpings.
Also,
What does Jack Iverson invent?
Bert Ironmonger misses out.
Why would Bert
Oh,
Ironmonger
sorry,
do that?
I meant Jack Iverson. Never mind. I confused the two.
Jack Iverson is the carom ball.
Okay. I've also seen finger flick leggies. I don't know what that is. I guess that is a carom ball.
It wasn't called carom because no one in Australia played carom. So it was retrospectively called the carom ball. But at that stage, it was called finger flick leg spin, which is a terrible phrase that did not stick around.
Anyway, I think he misses out.
Do you want some more? I got heaps. Franklin Stevenson is the guy who starts the cutter. As I said, it's a weird one because the cutter had existed before, and if you go back in history, lots of bowlers had changed their pace by bowling a cutter, but he's the one that turned it into the one-day force. Yeah, lots of players had bowled it. The difference is that Franklin Stevenson specifically started using it in limited overs cricket for a reason. He also did it because he was playing professional cricket in the UK and they were making him bowl like 1 million overs per game. And so he was bowling off spin, and then suddenly he realized, wait a minute, I could just use some of this off spin and bring that over. We missed Tilakratni Dilshan, the Dill Scoop, obviously, which is a variation on Murlier.
Who invents knuckleball in cricket?
You have to go way back.
So the first knuckleball bowler that we think is Adam Hollyoak.
Okay.
So that's in the 90s. But again, that doesn't really take off. So a couple of the oval guys are doing it at that stage, but they don't do it afterwards. And then Zahir Khan does it as well. But again, it doesn't take off. It's really Benny Howell when the explosion happens, right? Because the difference between Benny Howell and Zahir Khan is Benny Howell is a knuckleball bowler, whereas Zahir Khan just used it like 1 in every 10 deliveries. So I think it's a little bit different. You've also got Glenn McGrath's split finger slow ball, but that's not used as much.
It is.
Yeah.
Also, in captains, you had Ben Stokes as well. I mean, Bazball. We can't ignore Bazball.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Would have been crucified if we put him in, but yes.
I like the Clive Lloyd one more.
Yeah.
Patootie is the other one, as I said before, with the 4 spinners is another one. Javed Meandad and either the use of the crease or lofting the ball over covers. I think you can have him in either of those. What about some of the people who changed the laws of cricket, which I think is quite interesting? So Kyron Pollard intentionally running the second run short so that he would get a single but stay on strike.
Ooh.
Trevor Chappell bowling underarm.
Yeah.
So that we never had under. I still can't believe that no one just put a regulation in before Trevor Chappell to get rid of underarm. Dean Jones running down the wicket. KP switch hit. You probably go back.
KP
and Bill Brown's running between wickets would be the other one.
I think the biggest miss for me is probably Spofford, Iverson, and then KP. Now that you've mentioned it, because people do play the switch hit.
Flipper? Was
Bonnie?
it Bonnie or
Flipper is
someone else?
Clary Grimmett.
Oh, Clary Grimmett.
Clary Grimmett. That's I knew there was someone who did it. Yeah.
Okay then, let's hear it. What's our team looking like, Jarrod?
Our team is Victor Trumper, Graham Gooch, Ranji, Hanif Mohammed, Clive Lloyd, Bernard Bosanquet, Simon O'Donnell, Douglas Marillier, Mohammed Asif, Sakleen Mushtaq, Safraz Nawaz, and WG Grace as 12, which I really enjoy. Behram is Ranji, Safraz, Sakleen, WG. Varun is Trumper, Bernard Bosanquet, Graham Gooch, and Asif. And I am Clive Lloyd, Simon O'Donnell, Hanif Mohammed, and Douglas Marillier. My list is, just ridiculous.
Maybe we could have gone for KP over Gucci, Varun. We really could have.
Fair.
Yeah. And then Hanif could have
completely forgot
opened.
about KP, to be fair.
Yeah. They would switch
Also
their
didn't know
places.
about Hanif, so there's that.
Yeah. And you need to read the Art of Batting then. But anyway, that's what our individual picks.
He's literally do you know the amount of times he's thanked in the Art of Batting and he doesn't even know because he hasn't read it.
True. But anyway, that's what our team looks like, and that's what our all 3 of those individual picks lists also look like. And tell us what you would have changed in this team, and where did we go wrong, and who wins it between us or amongst us individually. But anyway, that wraps up this episode of the Cricpicks podcast. And just a quick reminder, you can go to goodareas.co and bookmark that webpage, and that can be your one-stop shop for all the fun work that we do as part of this team, whether it be written content, videos, or podcasts. And we'll see you soon enough on another show. That's all for now. Have a good one, folks, and goodbye.
Brian Lara used pot plants to work on his placement. John Wright glued his glove to his bat. Sachin Tendulkar dug up practice pitches. Tatenda Taibu cut the top off his bat. Claire Taylor used a hockey grip. Steve Smith was from tennis. Dean Jones would call phantom runs. And Victor Trumper turned the nets into a war zone to survive. The best batters in the world do whatever they have to make runs. We have told their stories in our new book, The Art of Batting.